Now that Thunderbolts has introduced one of the strongest Marvel characters of all time into the MCU with Sentry, it's time to ask the question, who wins in this fight in Avengers Doomsday? Is it Doctor Doom or Sentry? We gotta get to the bottom of this. And what we're gonna do is just go over multiple possible ways this fight could play out narratively in the movie. We're not gonna be doing like comic power scaling or anything in this video because the MCU changes the power level so much from the comics. And plus, as Stan Lee once said, the only way to decide who's gonna win between two characters in a fight is whoever the writer wants to win. All the powers can get thrown aside when it comes to the sake of the story. Now, this is your major warning. There's going to be huge spoilers for the entirety of Thunderbolts and the post-credit scene pretty much because we got to talk about how Bob's going to play into Avengers Doomsday anyways. Because in the Thunderbolts, we see that he has not been downgraded in his powers whatsoever from the comics. Like, he is literally probably the most powerful character we've ever seen in the MCU. Single-handedly just wipes the floor with all the Thunderbolts without breaking a sweat, and that's even before he became the Void. Even though his powers are incredibly strong, he has technically been nerfed narratively in the MCU, which is kind of what I was referring to, in the fact that the way they beat him is kind of calming him down, getting him out of the Void state. But now, in the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts, he states that he can't use his Sentry powers without bringing back the other guy, referring to the Void. Which brings me to my first theory for how a fight between these two is going to play out, is that it's actually going to be one of the first fight scenes we see with Doctor Doom in the movie, and I'm not going to like the result of it because it's going to be the way that they show how powerful Doom really is. So the way I see this first possibility playing out is that we kind of directly continue the post-credit scene from Thunderbolts, where we see the now new Avengers. They are obviously aware of the Fantastic Four ship entering the atmosphere, so they go to wherever it lands since they've been tracking this ship, and they end up meeting the Fantastic Four, who are warning them about Doctor Doom coming to this world. But then we really set the tone of this movie early on. Like, think back to how in Infinity War it opens with Thanos pretty much having already destroyed pretty much all of the ship leaving Asgard and then killing off Loki. But in this movie, what we see is Doctor Doom actually like followed the Fantastic Four ship. He shows up right in this opening scene with the new Avengers and the Fantastic Four. And this makes Sentry or Bob feels like, hey, I gotta use my powers even though it's gonna be the bad Void guy. So Sentry unleashes himself, he becomes the Void, and he immediately sends Doctor Doom into his own Void shame room. And this could give us a great look at Doctor Doom's like origin in this new world, since we really don't know how this Doctor Doom became who he is, how he's different from Tony Stark. And this would be a pretty creative way to show this version of Doctor Doom's origin story, how he became who he is, what went wrong in his life, because obviously the Void Shame Room shows you these most regretted things from your past. Obviously, you can't just have Doctor Doom immediately defeated by the Void in the first 5 minutes of your movie, so there's two ways that he could get out of this Void Room. The first one that I really hope doesn't happen, because I love Lewis Pullman as Sentry, is that he simply kills the Void in his own Void Room and breaks free from it. And then we see the new Avengers and the Fantastic Four immediately just like getting out of there, trying to escape and just find any other heroes on this world to help build up a team to fight against Doctor Doom now that they see, hey, he just defeated our most powerful guy. Or we could just simply see Doom breaking out of the Void Room and it doesn't kill Sentry. Maybe it just like severely weakens him or injures him to show like, hey, he just really injured one of the most powerful characters ever introduced in the MCU. You don't have to quite kill him off to still have that shock value of like, oh yeah, this guy's not messing around. The second possibility is that we see at some point in time, whether it's a similar fight to what I just described or a different scene in Doomsday, a conflict between these two appears, but instead of him just simply killing off Sentry or weakening him, we see Doom use his strength and smarts to say, hey, I can actually manipulate this Void guy and get him on my side. He's a very loose cannon. So then you already have like two of the most powerful Marvel characters of all time teaming up, which would definitely make you need everybody imaginable in Avengers Secret Wars to stop these two, but you don't stop there. You have Doom going around and recruiting more either villains that have been defeated but are still alive, or just manipulating people that are kind of in the middle on the anti-hero side of things. Because Avengers Endgame, obviously an incredible movie, a great send-off for so many characters, but one complaint I have seen people have about this and Endgame is that most of the people working on Thanos' side are just like these mostly unnamed random dog creatures that are just pretty much cannon fodder to be killed off by every superhero ever in existence. Since we know we're going to have even more superheroes for more dimensions and universes in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, I definitely think it's possible that they try to level the playing field a little bit and have some bigger names teaming up with Doom on the villain side. So it's not just Doctor Doom versus every superhero that's ever existed in a Marvel movie. The third possibility is that Bob pretty much just stays on the sideline for a majority of Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars because he's just afraid to unleash himself and become the Void. But eventually, maybe like after he meets Mr. Fantastic, he ends up working out some way that Sentry can use his powers and control the Void side of him himself later in one of the movies. And then with this new control over all his powers, we see Sentry actually being like one of the main reasons that Doom is defeated. Think of like Captain Marvel and how powerful she is. She comes in and saves the day at the end of Endgame. I think there's a possibility we do give Sentry like a true hero moment and give him that full like, yeah, you're now fully a good guy. Even though that's kind of like the most lame and boring of these ideas, I kind of hope that's what happens because I really don't want Lewis Pullman to be killed off in this movie. I think it's really important to the MCU that we keep him around. He's such a great new character with infinite possibilities. If he's killed off right after his first appearance, I feel like it would be such a waste. Let me know in the comments how you think the fight between Sentry and Doctor Doom is going to play out in this movie. We've got some crazy Marvel news lately, like Miles Morales being cast in Spider-Man Brand New Day and a director for the X-Men movie. If you want to hear about that, click the video at the top, or if you want to see my ranking of every single MCU Phase 5 movie and TV show, click the video on the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much for watching.